Yo, what's up? All right, so today we're going to be talking about John Kiriakou, the whistleblower for the CIA, the guy that just talked about all the enhanced interrogation techniques they got. So, that guy. And he kind of looks like the, guy from the Olympics that, went pew-pew and just got second place with nothing on it. But, that's the point. All right, so if you guys don't know who John Kiriakou is, he's a CIA whistleblower. So basically, he just exposed the entire CIA for all their torture techniques, all the bad stuff they were doing, and just he basically just said, yeah, well, fuck, I'm just going to leak everything and tell everybody about what I'm not supposed to. And, he got arrested, he had all this stuff happen. But yeah, I'm basically going to go in depth about what he did.
At the ABC News studios on DeSale Street in Washington. And I said three things in that interview that changed the course of the rest of my life. I said that the CIA was torturing its prisoners. I said that torture was official U.S. government policy. It was not the result of any rogue officer. And I said that the policy had been personally approved by the president himself. And then, as you can imagine, within 24 hours, the CIA files what's called a crimes report against me with the FBI, saying that I had revealed classified information.
He did 23 months in prison, which makes really no sense. He didn't even snitch on them for doing something illegal. Why is he being punished nowadays? He kind of just goes on podcasts and talks about the CIA and what he did. I am solely convinced he was a goddamn comedian in another life, because everything that is posted about him is the funniest goddamn world. Makes no sense. I mean, he doesn't make the CIA sound bad. He makes it sound funny. So how could somebody being doing torture techniques make, the CIA sound funny? Well, motherfucker, I tell you, he's the funniest motherfucker alive.
Things like murder, rape, robbery,
bestiality.
And the guy says, what was that last one? And my friend says,
I knew I had him.
He goes, bestiality. The guy says, what's that mean? And my friend says,
it's actually very common.
He says, everybody does it. It's having sex with an animal. And the guy says,
I may have done that three times.
And my friend says, okay, well, like I said, everybody does it. But just so we can get past it for the purpose of the polygraph, in what cases would you have sex with an animal? The guy says, well, sometimes when I have a fight with my wife, to get back her, I go to the barn
and I bugger the horse.
Because it's her horse. He said he gets up on a step stool and he gets the horse.
And he's like, okay.
And you've done this more than once? He said, I may have done it.
Three times.
What the are these CIA questions? Why are they asking about this, dude? This is not normal shit people just get asked. The CIA is fucking insane for asking this, three times. What the fuck do you mean? Three times? But yeah, that's just one clip. This is nothing to do with the CIA, and this just happens. What the fuck do you mean three times? This shit makes no sense.
CIA began to torture Abu Zubaydah, and they tortured him mercilessly. Well, they were supposed to start off with the least dangerous and least offensive technique, which was called the attention grab, where you grab him by the shirt and give him a shake and say,
answer my questions.
And it gets gradually worse from there. But they didn't do that.
They started with the worst technique, waterboarding.
They strapped him down to a board. His feet were elevated compared to his head. They put some material cloth around his face and in his mouth, and then started pouring water on his face. They did this
87 times. And he actually drowned at one point. His heart stopped. And then they revived him just so that they could torture him.
He actually has one of the coolest jobs in the world. He would go to foreign states like Yemen, and he would just recruit spies, basically. So, he would gaslight them, become their friend, have gay oral sex with them. Who knows? He would just become friends with these people and gain their trust. And he would say, want to be a spy for the CIA? And, if they say no, they'd probably get arrested or, who the knows? But he had these crazy stories, and he was a funny storyteller. And he low-key went viral during the Epstein files. And people just thought he was talking about these stories so people wouldn't talk about the Epstein files, which is stupid as who the would think that? People are just stupid. But his job was literally so good because it was based on a lie. That's why his stories are so good, and that's why he's going so viral, because he would literally just he would go to this foreign country, become friends with the target, literally based on a lie, would just tell him a bunch of stuff, and then he'd be like, hey, you want to work for the CIA? as a, you know, spy. And, you know, these people just know this guy really well, so they're gonna be like, oh, yeah, let's do it.
Have you ever killed anybody? No, thank God. My children asked me that. And I told them very proudly that I have never taken any action that resulted in the death of another human being.
There's one kind of half exception.
And I think about this all the time. In 1993, I guess it was, I was sitting in the morning meeting. I told you earlier that every unit meets every day at 9 o'clock, and you just talk about what happened in the country that you cover overnight. I was in the morning meeting, and the secretary came in, and she said, John, General Powell is on the phone for you. Call him Powell. I said, General Powell? How does he know who I am? And she
said, I don't know, but he asked for you by name.
My boss is like, well, go answer the phone. So I went to my desk and I said, good morning, General Powell. This is John Kiriakou. And he says,
John, if the Iraqis were going to kill the president, who would actually be in charge of that operation?
And I said, well, if you're talking about the attempt to kill President Bush, George H.W. Bush, he had been visiting Kuwait. I said, Kuwait operations are run from the Iraqi intelligence service's Basra station. But Basra station is headed by Sabr Abdulaziz Adori, the director of the Iraqi intelligence service.
He says, where does he sit?
I said, Baghdad.
Where exactly in Baghdad?
I said, if you hold on a second, I'll look up the address. So I looked it up. I gave him the address. He said,
thank you. And he hangs up the phone.
I go back in the meeting. They were like, what do you want? I said, he wanted to know about Sabr Adori and the attempt to kill President Bush. I'm like, okay.
8 hours later, we fired 47 cruise missiles into Iraqi intelligence service headquarters.
But by then it was the middle of the night in Baghdad.
And we killed the janitor.
So that was me talking about John Kiriakou, the CIA whistleblower. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know you guys seen my face. I'm pretty butt ugly, but who cares?